Dubai is a land full of technology, innovation, and, in the case of the World Islands, severe disappointment. Not long ago, Dubai's World Islands were the talk of the town. Nothing quite like them had ever been constructed, so it's no wonder that they wound up as the poster child for nearly every tourism advertisement imaginable. But after the city funneled a staggering $14 billion into their development, the iconic landmark sat forgotten and abandoned, slowly being overrun by Mother Nature. So what happened? Where did it all go wrong? And is there any hope left for this Dubai icon? Let's find out. We have to wind the clock back all the way to 2003 for the start of this fascinating journey of, let's be honest, failure. But back then, the World Islands were a totally different story. The designers were full of optimism, and the rest of the planet was obsessing over this beacon of ingenuity. Here was the initial plan. The artificial archipelago, made up of 300 islands, was going to be built 2 miles off the coast of the mainland. It was going to be a typical residential neighborhood, though the World Islands were intended to be an exclusive offshore playground for the elite of the elite. We're talking local and international film stars, royalty, business tycoons, and celebrities from near and far. 50 invitations were sent out every year detailing the exclusive opportunity to own the world. If you were swimming in cash, wouldn't you jump at the chance? And if celebrities weren't buying, they were being dragged into the advertising. Richard Branson posed for photos on Little Britain in a Union Jack suit, while rumors swirled that Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie had purchased Ethiopia, in line with the birthplace of their first adopted child, Zahara. The smaller islands were being advertised for $15 million, all the way up to $50 million for the larger ones. Not cheap, by the way. Why such high prices for empty islands? It's because a lot of work went into their construction. Clearly, these weren't naturally formed structures. These world-shaped islands were man-made, and building them up from scratch was a mighty ordeal. All up, a whopping 321 million cubic meters of sand needed to be brought in. Just to put that in perspective, imagine Yankee Stadium filled from bottom to top with sand. Now multiply that by about 150, and there's your visual. Impressive? Right? That doesn't even include the 34 billion tons of large rocks either. The sand was distributed across 300 islands over the course of 5 years, with one for almost every country in the world, ranging in size from 5 to 20 acres, and with up to 330 feet of water separating each island. The total area encompassed just over 20 square miles of land. Okay, let's talk about money. Ready for this? All things considered, this wasted project cost the city of Dubai a tear-jerking $14 billion. If instead of building the World Islands, the city put their money toward other avenues, the opportunities would have been endless, and Dubai could have been even further propelled into the global spotlight. But no. For $14 billion, Dubai could have built another 9 identical copies of the world's tallest building, the Burj Khalifa. For $14 billion, Dubai could have constructed 225 replicas of the Dubai frame, almost enough to create a circumference around the entire city. For $14 billion, Dubai could have constructed another 13 versions of the Burj Al Arab, the world's only 7-star hotel. Perhaps most importantly, for $14 billion, Dubai could have created a second version of the Palm Jumeirah, a revolutionary man-made archipelago that was already proven to be astoundingly successful. Yet, despite all these imaginative and realistic possibilities, they took the wrong option, opting to build the World Islands, which have sat mostly abandoned since their inception, slowly falling victim to the ocean. The empty islands aren't a failure solely because of the unwise allocation of the city's cash. While initially an amazing visual spectacle that truly deserved to be on a postcard, the aesthetic of the World Islands is now, well, kind of sad, really. See for yourself. The hope was for the World Island to resemble a bird's-eye view of a world map. However, in reality, and to the disappointment of the city and the structure's developers, the archipelago turned out to be only vaguely recognizable at best. We're Central America, practically non-existent. And is that supposed to be Australia? Even continents have blurred together. Europe, Africa, and Asia have merged into, well, an indistinguishable blob of sand. But how did it get to this point? Part of the blame goes towards sinking and erosion, and the other part goes toward the project remaining unfinished. Primary cause for the lack of completion can be pinned down to one event, the GFC. Because of the destructive effects of 2008, Nikhil Properties, the developer, had to halt production in 2009. By then, amazingly, 60% of the islands had already been sold to private companies and investors. But after that point, Mother Nature started to take over, and the islands began to lose their well-defined borders. While the GFC was indeed the catalyst for failure, it wasn't alone. The islands had also no access to electricity, which, given its intention to house properties, was a huge issue. There was a plan in place to install electric cables under the Persian Persian Gulf. However, it was never carried out. Then we've got another important reason for their struggle, the dilemma of choice. Dubai already has another incredibly successful man-made archipelago, the $12 million palm tree, officially known as Palm Jumeirah. This structure welcomed its first residents in 2007 before the world islands hit their roadblock. As you can see, today this place is thriving. The Atlantis Hotel is a hotspot for celebrities, with its lavish Atlantis Bridge suite holding the distinction of being one of the most expensive hotel suites in the world, zeroing in at $25,000 a night. Properties are going up left, right, and center, and it's still far from being full. So with another perfectly good set of islands already flourishing, why would Dubai keep throwing money at something seemingly destined to fail? In a city constantly building and creating innovative landmarks, time and money appeared to be better spent elsewhere. Only 9 of the 300 islands have been developed. These ones, Lebanon Island, Pete's Island, and 6 islands making up the so-called Heart of Europe resort, and Michael Schumacher Island, yep, named after the Formula One driver. As for Africa, Asia, Australia, and South America, well, they're still just piles of sand slowly drifting away. Alas, hope is not entirely lost. Dubai is fully aware of their failure and has managed to pivot in a new direction. Now, the focus has turned almost exclusively to one section of the world map, the Heart of Europe. Here's the new plan. The first phase of construction includes 10 waterfront palaces on Sweden Island, 32 villas on Germany Island, and 78 so-called floating seahorses. These floating homes, which are intended to be a staycation destination, are arguably the most unique part of the entire operation. They allow visitors to marvel at marine life from their underwater bedrooms and bathrooms. Pretty cool, hey? Phase 2 of the Heart of Europe features a pair of holiday resorts inspired by the colors and lifestyles of Portofino in Italy and the Côte d'Azur in France. Even though the city is making a clear and conscious effort to salvage the monumental stuff up, it's fair to say that the rest of the planet and Dubai itself has almost forgotten about the world islands, to the relief of the developer. Why? Because Dubai's constant innovations are eclipsing the long-forgotten failure. These days, the first thing that comes to mind is the Burj Khalifa. In a few years, that too could change, with a number of revolutionary projects already underway. Before too long, we'll see Dubai unveil the world's first dynamic tower, a $1.2 billion fully rotating skyscraper that will soar 80 stories and nearly 1,400 feet into the air. We'll also see Aladdin City, a $500 million neighborhood inspired by the tales of Aladdin and the Arabian Nights. And as perhaps the nail in the coffin of the world islands, Dubai has already created another man-made archipelago, Jumeirah Bay Island, which is shaped like a seahorse. Already open to the public, this place houses a yacht club, apartment buildings, and a 5-star Bulgari hotel. Palm Jumeirah in Dubai is the world's largest man-made island, and it's home to more than $30 billion worth of luxury hotels, seaside apartments, and beachfront villas. The famed island and its many features attract millions of tourists every year. Years of research and the work of Dubai's brightest minds went into creating the paradise, and it was created using real rocks, sand, and trees to make it feel like a tropical island. There's even plans to create 2 more multi-billion-dollar islands nearby. Here's all the innovation and luxury that went into creating Dubai's most popular and incredibly expensive attraction. Palm Jumeirah was an ambitious project launched by the government of Dubai in 2001. While it gets plenty of attention for its unique shape, it's made up of a trunk, crescent, and 16 fronds from a palm tree. Its absolutely massive size is often underestimated. The man-made island is 5 kilometers, that's 3.2 miles in case you were wondering, long, and the crescent surrounding it is about 16.9 kilometers, 10.5 miles long. Altogether, it covers 560 hectares of land, and you can easily spot it from space. It connects to Dubai thanks to a 1.4-kilometer bridge, and you can access the island with a monorail that transports over 20,000 passengers each day, or through the Palm Jumeirah Tunnel, an underground 6-lane bridge. Altogether, the development and creation of the island ended up costing $12 billion. But the innovative ideas that went into making this unique paradise are worth every penny. The architectural design of Palm Jumeirah Island came from Helman Hurley Sharbat Peacock, HHCP, a celebrated U.S. firm that designed famous theme parks like SeaWorld and Universal Studio. Over 100 studies were conducted to examine the entire scope of the project and see if such big ideas were really possible. Expert divers were sent to explore the rock formations and seabed, while a GPS was placed into space at a height of about 676 kilometers, 420.8 miles, to ensure the accuracy of the palm-like shape. To make the island feel as real as possible, and to not disturb the surrounding ecosystem, it was constructed of real sand, rocks, and trees. An incredible 94 million cubic meters of sand was brought from the seabed, while 7 million tons of rocks were obtained from the Hajar Mountains and used to construct the base. Over 12,000 trees were grown in a nursery to be planted on the island once the structure was finished, and a technique called vibrocompaction was used to make the soil particles denser so they could withstand construction. These concepts are making my brain hurt, by the way. Surprisingly, no steel or concrete was used whatsoever during the island's creation. As if all this construction and planning wasn't complicated enough, the developers also had to worry about protecting the island and the residents from storms and typhoons. So they decided to build breakwaters to shield the island. A combination of geotextile fiber and sand with small and medium rocks were placed to make these protective structures. They were formed into a shield under the crescent to defend Palm and its buildings. Working with incredible speed and accuracy, the Palm ended up taking only 6 years to complete. Most of the properties sold out while construction was still in progress, and by 2007, over 75% of properties were immediately handed over to their new owners. By the end of that year, 500 families were already settled in and living in Palm Jumeirah. But what exactly does living or even vacationing on Palm look like? Well, let's consider the billions of dollars that went into constructing the land's gorgeous buildings. By 2011, Palm Jumeirah featured about 32 luxury hotels that could accommodate over 25,000 guests, and there were about 60,000 residents in villas and apartments. Altogether, these buildings are worth more than $30 billion. With that kind of money dedicated to construction, it's no wonder each building feels like a luxurious and opulent resort. Every single one has water views, and most of them even have their own private beaches. Let's take a look at some of the best places to stay. The most famous of the hotels is a sprawling $1.5 billion resort called Atlantis. It has its own water park and underwater aquarium. The Palm's richest guests often stay in the iconic Royal Bridge Suite, which will set you back a cool $25,000 per night. Another popular stay is one and only the Palm. It's made up of beachside mansions and two-story villas with private pools. It's one of the most luxurious hotels on the island, but you can grab a small room for a base price of AED $3,000 per night or $816 US. Jumeirah Devel Sixteen is one of the best resorts for perfect vacation vibes and ocean views. It comes complete with private beaches and has some of the best nightlife, including places like The Crown, a Mala and Club Lounge. You can grab a small room and one bed for AED $1,000 per night or $272 US. For the same minimum price, you can also stay at Anantara, the Palm Dubai Resort. This hotel has 400 meters of pristine beaches and offers some of the best boating experiences on the island. There are also tons of sea view apartments for rent if you want to make your stay a long one. The most expensive rentals of these fairly modest apartments are around AED $400,000 per year, or about $109,000 US. But as the name suggests, each unit offers you gorgeous views of the water right outside your window. There's also plenty of apartments for sale, but even the cheapest units will cost you at least AED $650,000, which is about $177,000 US. The most expensive luxury units feature things like balconies with the best unobstructed views and floor-to-ceiling windows, and they can cost as much as AED $58 million or $15.8 million US. But the real property showstoppers on Palm Jumeirah are the villas. The price for a villa starts at AED $3.5 million, which is $953,000 US. They're located on the Fonds and each comes with its own private beach. They also have their own pools and jacuzzis and feature floor-to-ceiling windows, balconies, home spas, and private gyms. Even though everything you need is already provided for you in your luxury apartment or sprawling beachside villa, there are plenty of reasons to leave your home and explore what else the island has to offer. The boardwalk is one of the island's best spots, and a lot of thought went into constructing it and deciding on the perfect place for it. It's a long path that stretches along the the Outer Crescent and offers visitors an amazing impression of the Palm. For shopping, you could always visit the Golden Mile Galleria. It's the most popular shopping and dining destination on the island, where you can choose from a variety of international cuisine. There's Italian, Middle Eastern, French, Japanese, and plenty of others, ranging from cheap options to five-star dining. You could also check out The Point by Nikhil, another shopping mall located across from the Atlantis Hotel. It features one of the biggest fountains in the world, where you can attend a spectacular light and water show. The fountain cost a whopping $18 million to construct, while the shopping mall itself cost $217 million. You could also visit one of the most beautiful mosques in the world, the Abdul Rahman Sadiq Mosque. It's the only mosque on Palm, and it costs about $5.7 million to build. Palm Jumeirah is also really popular for celebrity tourism, but that's not really surprising given the island's extravagance. David Beckham once owned a villa here, while Bollywood superstar Shah Rukh Khan has a 6-bedroom beachside mansion. The Kardashians, Priyanka Chopra, and Robert De Niro are just a few of the celebrities known to frequently visit the island on vacation. With the incredible success of Palm Jumeirah, Dubai has even tried to recreate it. The Palm was originally part of a 3-island project. The other 2 islands are Palm Jebel Ali and Palm Dira, and the plan was to make them much bigger than the first island. But there's been a few problems. Construction has been pushed back over the years due to budget constraints and a financial crisis. Developers aren't sure when these islands will be finished, or if they're able to finish them at all. Developers are now talking about turning these islands into 4 smaller private islands instead. Palm Dira has been rebranded as Dira Islands, and it's expected to be home of 2 high-rise buildings and a long shopping street, while Palm Jebel Ali might never be made at all. The future of these projects is still unknown, but with Palm Jumeirah still booming, it's likely not the complete end of the Palm projects in Dubai.
Based on the world-famous and expensive artificial island of Palm Jumeirah in Dubai is the luxury hotel resort Atlantis The Palm, and it's worth over $1 billion. The Extravagant hotel has even been the location for 5 world records to date. Today, we're going to take a look at this incredible tourist location. We'll see how it was built, as well as the incredible features and suites, including a huge water park, celebrity restaurants, and underwater rooms to stay in. Plus, we'll see the new project the owners are building, Atlantis The Royal. So, let's get started. Construction on the Atlantis started all the way back in 2005, around 3.8 miles offshore of the UAE city in the Palm Jumeirah. The project was a joint venue between Kerzner International Resorts, who had success after creating the Paradise Island Resort in the Bahamas, and the state-run investment firm Istithmar World. The Palm was constructed by the company Lang O'Rourke across nearly 113 acres of land. During its peak, 10,000 people were working to create the resort, which likely helped dramatically in causing construction to be completed 2 months earlier than scheduled in 2008. Altogether, the resort is reported to have cost $1.5 billion to create. Some of the big fees include constructing the hotel and water park, which took up $650 million, while design and management fees took more than $200 million. The hotel, based within 250,000 plants and trees, is created from an east and west tower that's linked by the Royal Bridge Suite. More on that later. The 5-star hotel has 23 stories and has 1,539 rooms in total, while the water park is spread over 42 acres. When the Atlantis Palm was being opened to the world in 2008, they decided to host an opening ceremony, and no expense was spared. In fact, it cost around £15 million, or $21 million at the time. Around 2,000 famous guests were present, including Michael Jordan, Charlize Theron, and Robert De Niro. Kylie Minogue was selected to perform a 60-minute gig. She was paid around $2.8 million. The event even had a firework display that allegedly gave Olympic opening ceremonies a run for their money. The cost of the Atlantic fireworks came to around $4.2 million. One of the main features of the Palm is the Mammoth Water Park. Called Aquaventure, the park contains a number of rides that hold 18 million liters of water altogether, such as the 1,473-foot-long Shockwave that features a series of dark tunnels for rafting. There's also what the park calls the world's longest water slide, the Odyssey of Terror. There are around 30 slides and attractions in the Aquaventure altogether. There's even a private beach and a chance to swim with dolphins. A day pass currently costs 289 United Arab Emirates dirham, or $79 per person. For those wanting to see a massive collection of fish, there's the Lost Chambers Aquarium. You can look within the Ambassador Lagoon and see 65,000 varieties paddle on by, including sharks and stingrays. The aquarium also has exhibits and underwater yoga. Tickets start from 115 AED or $31. There's also the chance to jump into the fish tank and snorkel, trek, or dive with the fish. Snorkeling starts from 315 AED or $86, while the Predator Dive, which does require you to have a recognized diving certificate, starts from 2,655 AED or $723. Beyond the water activities, the Atlantic Palm is known for being a haven of food. Altogether, there are 23 places to feast, including some celebrity chef-backed restaurants. One of which is Gordon Ramsay's Bread Street Kitchen and Bar. They host such events as Wellington Wednesdays, which serves beef Wellington with a truffle mash. Prices for this start at 315 AED, or $86 per person. There's also the award-winning Nobu Japanese restaurant, which is created by renowned chef Nobu Matsuhisa. For those wanting to try a selection of dishes, they can select the omakase menu. This multi-course experience starts from 675 AED, or $184 per person. While for those wanting to work out, there's the Shu Chi Fitness Center on site as well. A 12-month membership using a load of facilities will set you back 8,490 AED, around 2,311 pounds. While working with a personal trainer for 60 minutes costs 225 AED, or $61. If looking to recover quickly after working out, you can book cryotherapy treatments. Just one session in the cold chamber will set you back 350 AED, or $95. After the success of Atlantis The Palm, Kerzner International Resorts teamed up with SsangYong Engineering and Construction to create a neighboring resort, Atlantis The Royal. Built by the B6 Group and designed by Con Pedersen Fox Associates, construction on the 46-story hotel and residence began in 2016. While construction was completed in late 2020, it was originally meant to be opened in 2019. However, worldwide events disrupted the plans. When it's fully up and running, the facility will contain 795 hotel rooms and 231 serviced residences. There will be 35 restaurants and bars on the site, including eateries hosted by world-famous chefs like Heston Blumenthal and Jose Andres. There will also be 92 swimming pools across the resort, with 44 suites containing their own private pool. Altogether, the project will cost around 5.14 billion AED, around $1.4 billion. As we mentioned before, Atlantis The Palm has been home to 5 Guinness World Records, 2 of which were due to the band Kiss performing there in December 2020. That $10 million gig scored the records of highest flame projection in a music concert and most flame projections launched simultaneously in a music concert. Other records include longest underwater live radio broadcast in 2017, most nationalities washing their hands simultaneously in 2012, and largest tin of caviar, also in 2017. Some of the most desirable rooms at the hotel are the underwater suites. The Atlantis Palm offers 2 versions, the Neptune and Poseidon suites. However, they're essentially the same rooms. Anyway, the main selling point of the rooms is the underwater views of the Ambassador Lagoon. The main bedroom allows you to relax in bed and gaze at the fish passing by. You can also relax in the marble bathtub and watch the aquarium there too. There's also a private elevator that takes you to a lounge that also takes in the fishy sights. The 1,776 square foot suites have space to sleep up to 4 people, 2 in the main suite and a guest room next door for another 2 people. The suites also come with 24-hour butler service. A week in one of these rooms can cost around $63,100. Yet the most luxurious rooms aren't the underwater suites. Instead, it's the Royal Bridge Suite. The room even got a lot of publicity when Kim Kardashian stayed there in 2017. At 9,946 square feet, there's space for 9 people altogether. The suite consists of 3 bedrooms, each with ensuite bathrooms. There's even a private hot tub. Also with the room is a library, a media and games room, a palatial lounge, a 16-person dining room, a guarded entrance, and a private elevator with access to a 24-hour team of butlers and chefs. There's also access to a private pool cabana, among other such treats. For a week, the suite can cost up to around an eye-watering $161,000. When people think of a city that the world's rich flock towards, Dubai is often near the top of the list, alongside places like Monaco and New York City. The United Arab Emirates city has been a haven for the uber-wealthy for decades since the country began selling off their oil. Today, we're going to see why the rich are living in the UAE's most populous city. We'll examine the billionaires that call Dubai home and their net worths, where the wealthiest areas of the city are, and some of the unique luxuries Dubai has to offer. So, let's get started. Prior to oil being discovered in the area during the 1960s, Dubai was a simple fishing village. After finding the black gold, it soon became a metropolis of wealth. Since there's a finite amount of oil, Dubai has focused on tourism for their future income, especially for those with large bank accounts. One area to help with tourism was creating unique structures, such as the current tallest building in the world at 2,722 feet, the Burj Khalifa, which cost around $1.5 billion to build. During 2020, the New World Wealth released their findings about Dubai. They discovered that 51,710 millionaires and 9 billionaires living there owned assets totaling $491 billion. In February 2021, the NWW figure stated that number had jumped to $517 billion between 54,530 millionaires and 10 billionaires. From 2000 to 2019, 38,000 millionaires moved to the UAE as a whole. One of the richest people that has an abode in Dubai is Majid Al Futtaim. He's the founder of the retail conglomerate that bears his own name, the Majid Al Futtaim Group. At the time of writing, according to Forbes, Al Futtaim and his family have a net worth of $3.7 billion, while his cousin Abdullah Al Futtaim, who founded the Al Futtaim Group, has a net worth of $2.2 billion. Back in 2016, brothers Divyank and Bhavin Turkaya sold their India-based advertising network, Media.net, for $900 million. That year, the company brought in sales totaling $232 million. While Bhavin stayed on to help run Media.net, Divyank walked away. He's reported to currently reside in Dubai. According to Forbes, the brothers have a collective net worth of $1.54 billion. Famously, before taking the plunge in business, Mickey Jagtiani drove a taxi in London, England. After running a successful baby product shop, Jagtiani founded the Landmark Group during 1973 in Dubai. Currently, the company owns over 2,300 stores across 22 countries. As such, Jagtiani has a net worth of $3.6 billion. During 2019, the New World Wealth looked into cities that had the most wealthy people. So, Dubai was examined. For context, HNWI stands for High Net Worth Individual. When looking into the reason for Dubai's popularity with the rich, the group stated, quote, Dubai, the top financial center in the Middle East, is also one of the safest cities in the region, and a popular destination for migrating HNWIs and wealthy expats, unquote. One of the main draws to Dubai is the fact that there's no income tax. Whilst in New York, for example, depending on the income, a person can be charged between 4 to 10.9%. Dubai is also a transport hub, making it easier for people to reach meetings in other countries. Other pros include a good school system, vibrant social life, and many job opportunities. Plus, the warm weather is always nice. Ziad Dananu, president of Safanad, spoke to the Financial Times. Prior to the global events, Dananu could travel across the world when needed. Once the event kicked in, Dananu was stuck in Lebanon and cut off from the global market. So, he moved his family to Dubai. When asked why, he stated, quote, "It is safe and open. Dubai has the right kind of leadership, very proactive and robust with quick decision-making and an unwavering commitment to functioning infrastructure," unquote. Dubai was opened back up for tourists in July 2020. A number of rich people flew to Dubai in order to skip the vaccination queues in their countries. According to reports, these trips often include first-class flights, accommodation, and 2 doses of the vaccine. These trips started from £40,000, around $56,000. Yet, due to this influx of people, the housing prices in the city ended up skyrocketing. According to UAE Realtors Property Finder, during the first quarter of 2021, sales of Dubai's properties increased by 230%, while in some of the rich areas of the city, prices increased by as much as 40% from the same time last year. According to Dubai company Property Monitor, during April 2021, a record-breaking 90 properties worth 10 million United Arab Emirates dirham, around $2.7 million, each changed hands. Whilst in March, there were 84 similar sales. For an idea of scale, during the whole of 2020, only 54 similar priced sales were completed. However, mid-level properties are still seeing their value decrease. Back in 2013, on average, sales for abodes in the Burj Khalifa were $1,300 per square foot. In May 2021, it was $400. UK real estate company Knight Frank reported that between January 2021 to April, there were over 15,000 property transactions in Dubai alone, a 34.5% rise in the same period during 2020. One of the most popular places for the wealthy to live within Dubai is the Palm Jumeirah. The artificial archipelago contains a number of luxury hotels, such as Atlantis The Palm, the Fairmont Palm Hotel and Resort, and so on. It's also the place for decadent houses. In March 2021, a 14,000 square foot mansion was the most expensive home sold in the Middle East so far this year. With 5 bedrooms, it also has 3 cinemas, 3 kitchens, 3 bars, a fitness suite, a spa, and more. It sold for 111.25 million AED, around $30.2 million. According to Property Finder, the average sale price for 3-bedroom villas has also increased within Palm Jumeirah. In December 2019, it was 4.2 million AED, around $1.14 million. For April 2021, the average transaction price was at 11.5 million AED, or $3.13 million. Dubai has a number of luxury attractions for tourists. Usually, when we order groceries online, they'll be delivered in a van covered with the shop's name. Well, in Dubai, one store is using a Lamborghini instead. The Pakistan supermarket uses a 1.2 million AED, around $330,000, Huracan Spider to drop off mangoes. Shoppers have to spend at least 100 AED, about $27, on the fruit. They can even have a short trip in the supercar. The mango in a Lambo service has been very popular with kids. Celebrities such as British boxer Amir Khan have recently enjoyed the stylish dropping off of goods. At one point, Dubai hosted a couple of ATMs that spat out gold bars. Gold is a big industry in Dubai. During 2003, the city's gold trade totaled $6 billion. By 2013, nearly 40% of the world's gold was traded through Dubai. Altogether, this totaled $75 billion that year. Dubai's police force has perhaps the most stylish, luxurious fleet of vehicles in their arsenal. Many of the supercars turned cop cars have become popular with tourists. Such vehicles include an Aston Martin 177 priced at over $1.79 million, a Lamborghini Aventador priced upwards of $440,000, and a Ferrari FF from $300,000. They even have a Hoversurf Scorpion 3 hoverbike that costs $150,000.
A life of luxury means the finest clothes, the most exclusive clubs, and of course, the fastest rides. And you can bet that all of this and more can be found in Dubai. We want to highlight the rather over-the-top/wealthy lifestyle of Dubai in general, using a list of outrageous cars to prove it. After today's video, we're sure you'll say, where else in the world would you find these type of cars? Stick around for our look at a diamond Mercedes, a gold Lamborghini, and a fleet of police supercars? Oh yeah, you heard that right. Let's look at the crazy cars you can only buy in Dubai. First up, we want to show off this diamond-covered Mercedes-Benz SL600. And when we say covered, we absolutely mean it. From top to bottom, this German-made supercar has 300,000 Swarovski crystals on the roof, the trim, the rims of the car, All of it. Just who in the heck decked out their SL600 like this? That would be none other than Prince Al-Walid bin Talal Al Saud, who has a staggering net worth of more than $18.7 billion. The 2021 model of the Mercedes-Benz SL600 has a pretty hefty price tag of $292,500. But this one-of-a-kind diamond-coated version that is only found in Dubai? Yeah, it costs just about $4.8 million bucks. If that wasn't enough, Prince Al-Walid charges $1,000 to anyone who wants to touch his car. We gotta say, if his goal is to find a way to get back some of the money he spent on the car, we think he's done it. Next up, we got one of the most unique and visually striking cars in the world. It's the Devel 16, and it was first unveiled at the 2013 Dubai Motor Show. What are the specs on this bad boy? A 12.3-liter V16 engine that can produce nearly 5,000 horsepower with top speeds of nearly 560 kilometers per hour. If it's performance you're after, the Devel 16 may just be the car you're looking for. After all, this engine will give you 5 times the output of the Bugatti Veyron, a car that in 2021 goes for $1.9 million. So, how much does the Devel 16 go for? As you can imagine, due to its rarity, exclusivity, and eye-watering power output, it ain't cheap at all. We'd even go so far as to say it's devilishly expensive. You'll find the Devel in 3 different price tiers, a base version reportedly starting at around $1.6 million, an upgraded mid-range variant costing $1.8 million, and then there's the top-of-the-line 5,000 horsepower version, which will cost you a whopping $2.2 million. You a fan of Lamborghinis? How could you not be? These Italian-made hypercars are synonymous with luxury and power. But even though they may be Italian-made, one of the craziest Lamborghinis on the planet is only found in Dubai. And it's this solid gold Lamborghini. Yes, you heard that right, folks. A Lamborghini Aventador, normally a $573,966 car, has been upgraded in the most extra way possible by being crafted out of solid gold. The Aventador started from a solid block of gold weighing in at 1,100 pounds. From there, a bit of tinkering and a little adding of the bells and the whistles, and soon the car had 55 pounds of solid gold all over it. It apparently drives great and will absolutely leave its competition in the dust. But the price, as you can imagine, it's up there to the tune of $7.5 million. We got another Lamborghini you'll be hard-pressed to find anywhere outside of Dubai. It's a Lamborghini cop car. Let that sink in for a second. In Dubai, the police have a Lamborghini cop car at their disposal. Good luck outrunning them. Believe it or not, this is only one car in their super fleet. They are also harboring a Bugatti Veyron, a Ferrari, and a Bentley, among others. But this Lamborghini Aventador, it's a 294,000-pound car that has been completely repainted to match the standard look for the Dubai Police Department. Pretty freaking awesome if you ask us. But it certainly makes us think twice before trying to outrun the police in Dubai. So, if that was their goal, then we'd say the plan is working. Our next luxury sports car is produced by none other than W Motors, a company that is based in Dubai. This is the Lykan Hypersport. If you wanted a car that was unique to Dubai, then you really can't get much closer than this one. It was first seen in the Fast and the Furious franchise in their April 11th, 2015 release, Furious 7, which saw a worldwide gross of $1.516 billion. What makes this car extra is the fact that it sports rubies and other precious gems in the front lights. And the seats? They are stitched with gold thread. But don't you worry, the car ain't just for show. It can go from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 2.8 seconds. But, as with all these cars, expect to pay quite a bit for that performance. $3.4 million is the price tag for the Hypersport. Our next car we want to showcase may leave your jaw on the floor, not because it's a McLaren 650S, but because it very well could be your ride the next time you order an Uber in Dubai. This is the result of a joint campaign between Uber and McLaren, which allows people to give one of the most beautiful supercars in the world a 15-minute test drive when they order their Uber taxi service. The result of this campaign? Some of the most happy customers ever. These cars have it where it counts. They sport a 3.8-liter twin-turbo V8, as well as 650 horsepower and 501 pound-feet. When asked how they felt about driving it, one patron was quoted as saying, It drives very much like a luxury saloon car. What that lucky driver didn't realize is that they were just cruising around in a $459,250 to $505,750 beast of a sports car. Wishing that you could have been that lucky Uber patron who got to drive the McLaren? Don't worry, the next time you're in Dubai, be extra sure to call on Uber. You may very well get lucky and find yourself being driven to your next destination in a Bugatti Veyron 16.4 Grand Sport. It's a stunning piece of machinery, and it sports an 8-liter quad-turbocharged W16 engine with 987 horsepower. Yeah, not only will your Uber ride look great, you'll get there in no time. But now we come to the price, and it's certainly going to be a gatekeeper for anyone out there who isn't one of the richest. The Bugatti Veyron is a $2.2 million car. Oh, wait, we forgot. No, in Dubai, this is your Uber. Oh, well then you don't have to worry about that. It'll only cost you a couple bucks to drive this thing. Last up, we want to show off the Icona Volcano. It's a supercar that is being crafted entirely out of titanium, one of the lightest, strongest, and most resistant metals in the world. After all, titanium is what planes and jets are made of. So why shouldn't there be a supercar made of the same stuff? This ride was first shown off at the Dubai International Motor Show. The engine is a 6.8-liter V8 with nearly 1,200 horsepower, and it will blast from 0 to 62 miles per hour in just 2.8 seconds. But titanium is quite difficult to mold into the shape of a car, and as you can imagine, that ups the price of this one to an eye-watering $2,800,000. Hey, we've got one bonus car we want to show you. It's a Ferrari limo. And yeah, it's just as ridiculous as it sounds. It's been seen driving up and down the streets of Dubai, and apparently can house up to 8 passengers. The base model is a Ferrari Modena 360, a $147,256 car. But the limo version will let your imagination run wild for what it must cost.
Dubai has a reputation for collecting some of the richest people in the world, but it isn't just adults enjoying the luxury available in the UAE city. The kids are also splashing out their fortune there. And one of the most well-known is Rashed Belhasa, also known as the face of the YouTube channel Money Kicks. Today, we're going to take an in-depth look at Belhasa. We'll see where his fortune comes from, as well as explore the strangest and most expensive purchases he has made, including a private zoo that celebrities flock to, a pricey shoe collection, and supercars wrapped in fashion brands. So, let's get started. The source of Rashed Belhasa's fortune, especially during his early days in the vlogging industry, comes from his construction magnate father, Saif Ahmed Belhasa. In 2001, he created the company Saif Belhasa Holding. At the time, just one company was under the company's umbrella. Now, there are over 50 companies with over 10,000 employees. According to some sources, at the time of writing, Saif Belhasa's net worth is somewhere between $2.1 billion to $4 billion. Rashed has ambitions to create a financial empire in his father's footsteps, and he might already be there, considering some sources claim his net worth at the time of writing is around $3 billion. In 2013, at around 11 years old, Rashed Belhasa took his first steps into vlogging via Instagram. Not long after, he created the YouTube channel Money Kicks to showcase his expensive lifestyle. At the time of writing, he has 2 million followers on Instagram and 3.09 million subscribers on YouTube. According to reports, when he was 15, Belhasa was splashing out around $5,000 a month on just clothes. In July 2021, Belhasa took part in Social Knockout at the Coca-Cola Arena in Dubai. This boxing tournament had YouTubers taking on TikTok stars. Belhasa won his bout against Anas Al-Shaib. While we don't know how much Belhasa made from his boxing debut, in a similar event in June 2021 in Miami, Bryce Hall claims he had a base purse of $5 million and a further $1 million should he knock out Austin McBroom. Thanks to his various social media accounts, we get to peek at what Belhasa has splashed his cash on. In 2017, he spent around $30,000 on a first-class ticket aboard an Emirates Airbus A380 to Los Angeles. The pricey ticket gives you a private suite to enjoy. The suite comes with a minibar, a chair that converts into a bed, and a large TV. In preparation for his boxing debut, Belhasa teamed up with the founder of Prochox, Clement Auberger, to design a special mouthguard for the battle. According to their website, Prochox can create luxury custom mouthguards with prices starting from $10,000. Belhasa's guard is made with 18-karat gold and South African diamonds and costs $50,000. In 2019, Belhasa decided to get the world's most expensive perfume, Shumuk by the Spirit of Dubai. What makes the perfume special is the artistic design of the bottle. It's formed of 3,571 diamonds with 18-karat gold, silver, pearls, and topaz also playing a role. In fact, Shumuk holds a Guinness World Record for the most diamonds set on a perfume bottle. The bottle even sprays the perfume via a remote control. Shumuk is valued at 4.752 million United Arab Emirates dirham, or nearly $1.3 million. Belhasa grew up in perhaps every kid's ideal home. It even includes a zoo, but more on that in a bit. Outside the mansion is a swimming pool complete with a waterfall and slide. Under the waterfall is a grotto where water can spray down from the ceiling, while above the waterfall is a jacuzzi where you can relax and take in the views of the garden or just stare down at people in the pool. Also outside is a professional-esque football/soccer pitch. It even has floodlights for games in the dark. While inside the abode, there is a games room with a ping pong table, a massive TV for gaming, and a pool table. But the highlight of the mansion is definitely the sprawling private zoo. It's enclosed on the property in a separate area from the main house. The zoo, which isn't open to the public, is said to contain over 500 animals, including lions, tigers, giraffes, and many, many more. Many celebrities have visited specifically to see the animals, such as Mariah Carey, Jackie Chan, Floyd Mayweather, and numerous football/soccer players. Belhasa started collecting the animals from neglected zoos. Fun fact, many of the animals are named after luxury brands, such as Versace the lion, orangutans Gucci and Dior, and Armani the chimp. There are even giraffes named Bert and Ernie. According to experts, building a full-size public zoo can be expensive. Toronto Zoo reportedly cost 22 million Canadian dollars, around 17.3 million American dollars. With inflation, that would be the same as 117.9 million Canadian dollars, or 93 million American. While feeding the animals each year costs 900,000 Canadian dollars, or 710,000 American dollars. Smaller petting zoos can be costly as well. They can cost up to $50,000 for construction alone, so we can only imagine the massive price the Belhasa family paid for theirs. Also in Belhasa's house is a room dedicated to his passion for collecting shoes. This is necessary considering he has thousands of pairs. Some estimates believe he has over 200,000 shoes. In particular, sneakers/trainers. Each pair of shoes has its own dedicated area to be shown off. In 2017, his massive collection was estimated to cost around $1 million. One of his prized pairs is the 2004 Air Jordan 13, signed by Michael Jordan himself. According to Belhasa, in 2016, these shoes were his most expensive purchase when he spent $1,900. Since then, Belhasa has also added a pair of Nike Air Yeezy 2 Red October to his collection. In the past 12 months, they've been sold for as much as $15,000. But shoes aren't the only collecting hobby Belhasa has. Supercars are also involved. In 2017, he was gifted a Ferrari F12 Berlinetta for his birthday. But on top of being a stunning vehicle, it was also wrapped in a Louis Vuitton and Supreme print. However, since he was only 15 years old at the time, Belhasa couldn't drive it on the roads. In 2017, the manufacturer's suggested retail price, or MSRP, for the Berlinetta was $319,995. Only a year later, Belhasa reportedly placed his Ferrari up for sale with a bargain asking price of around $190,000. This isn't the only time he's owned custom-wrapped luxury vehicles. In 2016, Belhasa also got a Cadillac Escalade wrapped in black and white Yeezy print. In that year, the MSRP for an Escalade was up to $91,950. In early 2021, now able to drive on the road, Belhasa decided to splash out on a brand new Rolls-Royce Ghost. They go for as much as $311,900. Sticking with his love of rapping, this time the fashion brand Dior had its logo covering the Belhasa car. Final fact finish: Rashed Belhasa isn't the richest young person in the world. According to Forbes, the wealthiest teenager at the time of writing is Germany's Kevin David Lehman. At 19 years old, he currently has a net worth of $3.6 billion. He achieved this by inheriting 50% of his father's company, Drogerie Market, a drugstore chain, back in 2017. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.